the Indonesian government has been rattled by the recent actions of a hacker called Bjorka. Furthermore, a cybersecurity and digital forensics expert from Vaccine.com has confirmed the authenticity of 105 million citizenship numbers which were leaked and sold on a website called breached.to. The leaked data have been thought to originate from the General Elections Commission.
Bjorka also claimed to have leaked the data of the mastermind behind Munir's murder. And aside from that, sensitive data belonging to Indonesia's State Intelligence Agency, or BIN, have also been allegedly leaked. This includes the identities of agency members, reports, and business strategies, as well as the personal information of several high-ranking officers.
Now, Bjorka's attack might be a sign for the Indonesian government to pay more attention to the cybersecurity. And this morning, to find out more, we are now connected with the Indonesia Intelligence Institute Director, Pak Ridlwan Habib. Good morning, Pak Ridlwan.
Good morning.
Good morning, Karina. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Pak Ridlwan. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, Pak, can you tell us? Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit what your take is on Bjorka's attack, and could he be politically driven, or was it an attempt to divert attention from the current issues happening right now?
Hacker usually work underground. They don't publish themselves openly like Bjorka.
Okay.
Bjorka action during these 10 days, I think, in my opinion, are more impressed as an act of protest, I think. Or there is maybe a particle, like a political element in this action, because Bjorka doesn't do like a normal hacker. I think it's more than political driven, I guess.
Okay. You think he's working alone, or could this possibly be, there could be others that are working together with him?
Possibly there is a team behind this organization,
Right.
But also possibly he working alone, or she working alone.
Okay, so let's, yeah, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I think Bjorka is not like an ordinary hacker, because in this underground world, they usually don't, they doesn't like publicity.
Right.
Different with this Bjorka activity.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of strange for us to be like hearing so much coming out of the
Right.
hacker themselves. So let's talk a little bit about the impact, Pak Ridlwan, the short-term and long-term possibly impacts of the leaks that from Bjorka that will have either both on the government and on us, our society, because we're talking about people's identity or identity numbers that have been leaked as well.
Of course, it's very big, I think. For the government, this shows the failure to protect the digital data of the citizen. And even the ministerial data, as you know, the Ministry of Communication, Johnny G. Plate data is opened publicly by Bjorka. And this is very bad, I think. And for the public, for the citizen, of course, this could be causing an anxiety. People worry that their personal data, their personal ID is not safe. Even so, I think Bjorka leak was not the vital data. It's not the vital data that dangerous to the country, but it's more like a personal data. So, like I said before, it's more like a political or sign of protest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody can access that much just to get our personal data, it's just a sign that they could perhaps access more.
Yep.
And like you said, Pak Ridlwan, perhaps this is just like a warning shot, you know, like, hey, this is how much we're able to access.
Yeah.
So perhaps
we can do more.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Pak Ridlwan, of course, now we know that in the digital era, it's, you know, our personal data is pretty much stored everywhere online, from e-commerce sites to banking platforms. Now, can you tell us a little bit, or explain to us what cybersecurity is, and how do used by communication apps, as mentioned before, e-commerce platforms and and banking sectors like, M banking for me differ from each other?
I think the most important thing is for the government, Karina. This is their obligation to protect our data as a citizen. In this case, some suggestion, I think first we should make a major correction on our cybersecurity network and our cybersecurity institution. More coordination, I think, because as you know, there is a different comment from the Ministry of the Communication and the PSSN. They
Right.
different in this. They have a different opinion in this case. So some suggestion, I think, first governments should assign a government cyber spokesperson. So all information comes from a one-door spokesperson. So public can understand clearly about this case. And then the second, I think there needs to be an expansion of the authority of the PSSN in catching and investigating cybercrime, because as you know, they cannot do something right now. The police can do, but the PSSN doesn't have a legal authority to
Right.
do that. And more sophisticated, I think more sophisticated equipment should be bought by PSSN.
Right.
Budget should be increased.
So we do know, Pak Ridwan, that maintaining cybersecurity is an ongoing process. It seems endless. We're curious as to which country has the most number of hackers. Is Russia one of the countries with the most hackers in the world? Because we're constantly hearing that as well. Which country in the world is targeted the most by hackers? And how do governments actually protect the data of their citizens?
The most secure country, I think, right now is Sweden, I think,
Oh,
in our data.
Oh, interesting.
But yes, but in every country, there is a different tactical operation about their cybersecurity. As we know, such for example, in Australia, they have a joint team that working together to maintain their cybersecurity. In England, we have one authority body that can penetrate in their citizen data. They have law for that. And in United States, I think there is still a debate about this matter, whether for our data protection or our cybersecurity protection.
Right. Wow. Yeah. And but Ridwan, I think for the younger generation, I guess I'd say like myself, we're not very careful maybe sometimes in sharing our personal IDs, especially, with all these e-commerce sites now requiring us to submit our ID numbers on various apps, like even mobile banking itself. Are there any steps where you can advise us on how we can be more careful and just more certain? Because I know sometimes we're lazy, we'd rather store all our data online just to make it easier when we log in or when we go to that app. But is there anything that you can tell us to how to be careful in just sharing our personal information and data online?
Actually, Karina, the most dangerous thing is what they call the social engineering technique. It's like a normal conversation, perhaps some stranger conversation in our WhatsApp
Right.
or in our Telegram application, but actually they were trying to lure us as much as possible data from us to them. This is called the social engineering technique. So this is more dangerous than regular hacker technique.
Wow.
If the regular tactic, we can protect our data by regularly change our password.
Yeah.
And we don't use Wi-Fi when we were doing some mobile banking or some personal data. because as you know, the public Wi-Fi is very dangerous. Hacker can insert some device in the platform, and our data can be transmitted in their laptop or their handphone.
Right.
So, but the most important thing is I think our sense of responsibility to our data. So don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone in our cyber data.
Okay. Now I'm starting to think back about all the conversations I had, Pak Ridwan, and wondering if I gave out any data unknowingly. Because if somebody's just asking for like a picture of our KTP or our national identity, it's for a purpose, right? And we generally try to be wary of who we give it to. But if people are just asking questions about us so they know more about what, more information about us so they're able to use that against us. Now I'm starting to think like, who have I given out my information to, right?
Especially sometimes, when you're trying to send out addresses, people trying to send things over, maybe for work and whatnot, you don't realize actually how much information you're giving it.
Yeah, exactly. So now, Pak Ridwan, what can be done for those of us who have had data leaked to third parties, and what can we do to protect our personal information online? Like you mentioned, be aware of conversations that you have as well. But what else can we do in order to keep our information safe?
I think the resident who feel their data has been harmed or compromised by the hacker can complain to the police, make a report to the police, because this is of course this is a violation in our laws, in information and electronic transaction law. And also citizen actually can sue the government, because actually this is their responsibility.
Really?
The state responsibility to protect our data. So if the civil society want to sue the government, I think with this Bjorka case, they can do that, actually, Paul.
Right, okay. So
Now,
there's actually legal laws as well to protect us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for someone who may not be very not aware about how the hacking world works, Pak Ridwan, can you maybe give us an overview or an explanation on the level of difficulty on how to access the information that's actually been leaked so far? Like on a scale of easy to difficult in the world of hacking, like how difficult is it to gain all these information that's been leaked?
What Bjorka leaks is actually not a vital data. That can be obtained by several techniques, a basic technique actually. But the most important thing, I think, the database server, because this kind of data, they should penetrate the database server, which in our case in Indonesia, the server is maintained by Home Ministry, Home of the Ministerial Ministry, Kementerian Dalam Negeri bahasa Indonesia, di Indonesia, which is I think this is major leaks from their servers, because this is a personal data which contain our identity number and our faction number actually. And that's not very difficult actually for this kind of work, for the hacker community.
Okay. Well, perhaps this is just a red flag. It can just be used as a reminder for the government, like you said, to be more diligent in our cybersecurity. And we've seen corporations or perhaps governments sometimes, there's this phrase, Pak Ridwan, to catch a criminal, you have to think like a criminal. So is there perhaps some sort of benefit for the Indonesian government to perhaps use hackers in order to help strengthen their cybersecurity? Because we've obviously heard of these methods used in the past before.
Yeah, I believe our cybercrime police have a good team. They are very trained to chase down like bad hackers, and some of them has been caught and actually working together with the Indonesian police as an expert.
Right.
And from Bjorka understanding about local politics in Indonesia, such as about Denny Siregar, about Pak Erick Thohir, I think it is very likely that perhaps Bjorka is an Indonesian.
So, okay, so there is possibility, right? Because that was going to be my next question,
Yeah.
whether or not it's possible. Because the name is not indicative of an Indonesian name. It seems very foreign or European. But again, like you said, information that has been shown indicates that he knows a lot about he or she knows a lot about the Indonesian stuff as well, right?
Yeah. What goes behind the scenes.
All right, Ridlwan, thank you so much for your time and for joining us today. Obviously,
Thank you, Paul.
this is a very interesting topic
Ridlwan.
for us to touch on, especially since we're seeing it all over the news lately. And we do hope that the government is able to get their handle around this in order to keep us all safe, especially our information online. Take care, Ridlwan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ridlwan. Have a great week.
Take care.